Well, hello everyone. Hello, hello, hello. We are excited about another show for today. And today is Monday, May the 5th. And you are now joining Issues and Answers with yours truly, Honorable Chief Mrs. Valencia Stovall on WCEG Talk Radio. And so I always try to start off with A Kasan to my Georgia listeners and Odaro to my Nigerian listeners, where guess what, y'all? It's about 9 o'clock that time in Nigeria. And so our show today is a very touching show for me to be able to do this show today. But before I get into that, I want to let you know you're listening for the next hour to WCEG Network. We are the worldwide community empowerment group where we speak life into the community. You can log on to WCEGTalkRadio.com. You can watch us live like you're doing now, but for those who might not be watching live, on your smart TV, on Roku, cable channel, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Subscribe free to our YouTube channel, WCEG Network. Like us on Facebook and Instagram. You can connect with us on LinkedIn, TikTok, and Threads. Download our free WCEG mobile apps, Alexa, and you can say, Alexa, play WCEG Talk Radio. There's a disclaimer I must give to everybody. And that disclaimer says the topics and opinions that you are going to hear on this show and by the show hosts are not of WCEG Network. And so we thank you for your continued support and tell a friend because we're about to get started. So I want to start off with a moment of silence for those who are no longer with us physically, and also a moment of silence for those who are just not right altogether. You know, a lot of things are taking place now, happening, and some people just not together physically or mentally. So we give that moment of silence in recognition for them. There are a lot of unprecedented events happening in the world, so keep the faith and always know that God is in control. On April the 24th, Kenny and I celebrated our 6 months of marriage. We were married in Ogun State in Nigeria and are enjoying this new journey of blending the Yoruba and American cultures together. And every visit that I make to Nigeria is a new adventure. And guess, y'all, it's never the same. So soon, I start maybe having some, maybe do a YouTube show about the adventure of that new adventure. But right now, today, our show title today is Left Behind, How Our Seniors Are Forgotten in Public Service. I'm going to repeat that. Left Behind, How Our Seniors Are Forgotten in Public Service. Can you imagine forgetting about the seniors? All of us at one point have known a senior. And now some of us, like myself, I'm a new senior. And so we can't forget about those seniors, our elders, those who made the sacrifice and laid the groundwork for us, for the younger generations, to be able to have it and enjoy the things that we enjoy. So this month, the month of May, is Older Americans Month and they have a 2025 theme of Flip the Script on Aging. Excuse me, a time to recognize older Americans' contributions, highlight aging trends, and reaffirm commitments that they have made in our community and the commitments that we should make with serving our older adults. And so I want to know, did you know that there was actually a federal agency under the Health and Human Services called Administration for Community Living? And this particular federal agency oversees services to seniors. It was created around the fundamental principle that all people, regardless of age or disability, should be able to live independently and participate fully in their communities. Can you imagine that seniors are getting left behind in the areas of public service? I'm going to say that again. Whether it's light heat, and I'm going to talk about what is light heat, home repairs, transportation, sidewalks, and street crossings. Yeah, they get left behind when it comes to that. Health care, food stamps, scams, and also the digital divide, technology. And would you agree that seniors are too often left out of many of those things that a lot of us who are not, a lot of people who are not seniors don't even have a second thought about sometimes. Now, my dad, who's loving Stovall, many of y'all hear me talk about him all the time. He's 84, and Lord's willing, in June, he will be 85. So I think he's well past the age of senior. And I asked him, I told him about my topic today. And I said, Dad, what's your thoughts about the topic? He said, well, you know, I've been born and raised in Atlanta all my life. And he said he remembers the early days when Atlanta was known as the city too busy to hate. Many people don't know that, but Atlanta was known as the city too busy to hate. But he said right now, it doesn't seem like that is what's happening, that they now are busy, too busy, and a lot of hate is going on when it comes down to discrimination and services that need to be given to our seniors and older Americans, and they're not happening. You know, he said the seniors are the ones that built this city where people are able to enjoy it now. So many people who are not born and raised here in Atlanta and have not seen the difference in the growth of what's happening, not just Atlanta, even in Georgia. So we have some new people that have moved in. You all just have no idea of the sacrifices that were made by seniors who, of course, at that time weren't seniors, but they have, and now they've become seniors. And they feel like they are just being pushed to the side, like my daddy said. You just feel like they're being pushed to the side. And he said, you just live here long enough and you will be a senior. So just like they used to then be a senior, but many of us, we live here long enough, we're going to become seniors. So I want to kind of share my experience on this past Friday. For those who may not be on my Facebook friend or even follow me on Instagram or some of the other social media outlets, you may not have seen my recording, my live video I did on Friday about the light heat assistance, which is the low income heating energy assistance program. This is a federal program. And these are essential services that the seniors need that are on fixed income. And these there's money set aside twice a year to help offset the cost for energy assistance, whether it's your light bill or whether it is your gas bill. And so I had contacted so in the month of May for like the cooling season, they have during the month of May is for senior adults. So this is a time that they can make appointments to go and get their energy assistance. Now there's only one community action authority organization that handles all of Fulton County. And that's Fulton Atlanta Community Action Authority. There's only one other community action authority in the state of Georgia that only handles one county, and that's down in Chatham, down in the Savannah area. So Fulton and Chatham are the only ones that have their own community action authority. Now the others, they're total 18, according to excuse me, the state of Georgia's website. And so all the rest of them actually have multiple counties that they service. So that means that if you live in Fulton, you would get your service from FACA. The short name is FACA. If you live, say, in Clayton, they have the Clayton County Community Action Authority, but that one serves Henry, Clayton, and I think Fayette are the three counties that they serve, even though they're located in Clayton County. So during this time of May, there's an appointment time that's set up. And so last year, in the previous time, I think even during the winter time, the senior centers in Fulton County. Those are run by Fulton County, the county. They usually allow the seniors that to come to the center and bring their documents that they need to verify their income and all of that. And they would take the information from the seniors, and then I guess they would submit it to FACA. And then it's an easy process for the seniors. So they bring all their documents and they collect the documents, and then they turn them over. Well, this time, for the cooling season, this time it didn't happen like that. So now the seniors were scrambling trying to get their appointment time, and some of them still would do their appointment with FACA. But the ones who were able to go to the designated senior centers, that's what they utilized in order to be able to get their paperwork in. So this particular time, they had an appointment window. So you either can call a number, it's only one number you could call to get an appointment, or you can go online to the faca.org website. So if you didn't do it within a certain amount of time, all of the appointments became filled. And so then, so when we found out that they were not going to, when I said that FACA was not going to be utilizing the senior centers for a distribution or collection site, then we tried to make an appointment, but it was too late. All the appointments were filled. So we went online, we called, there was a recording. So me being a former elected official, I used to be a state representative for 8 years, I definitely know protocol. So you call your elected official to find out what's going on after you ask questions at the agency. So I went to, so this before I went down there. So this is way before Friday, y'all. This was like 2 weeks ago. So I reached out to my dad's commissioner, who is Mo Ivory, one of the new elected officials for his district. Talked with the lady named Keisha, very friendly, and she said, well, let me go find out what's going on. She came back to the phone. She gave me 2 phone numbers. One of the phone numbers was out of service, and the other phone number went straight to a recording that says, guess what? All the appointments are filled. So I called back and have been waiting since then to find out what's the next step. Now that was 2 weeks ago, which was still in, I remember back up, y'all. April was the month for seniors, and May 1st is the time they open up for the general public. So let me correct that. April was the month for seniors. And so that's when I said 2 weeks ago, that's when I found out that the appointments were filled up because they weren't taking them at the center. So I haven't gotten a call back from my dad's commissioner, Mo Ivory, or her staff. And I've been calling. I got my phone log, y'all. And so then I sent an email to her and Chairman Pitts, Rob Pitts, who's the chair of the Fulton County Commission. And then I also called the main number for the county commission. So I did get from his office, I did get a return call. And the lady that called back was very friendly. And she said, well, let me look into it. She called, she gave me the same number that had the recording. And then she gave me some other agencies, contacting them. It's still, when I said, well, what else, what are seniors to do? And the thing about it, nobody could give an answer. So that's unacceptable when you don't have an answer about what needs to be done. Now, so fast forward, like I told you, been working 2 weeks. I didn't want to wait till May the 1st because I know that now it's going to be open to all of Fulton County. So I said, well, let me go down to the FACA office on Kelly Street in Atlanta. So went down there, saw a lot of people walking up to the building. Some went in, some came back out. They were frustrated. So I went in to ask questions about, hey, what's going on with the appointment? This is May 1st. Now, on May 1st, people were told start trying to make an appointment early that morning. But at 11 o'clock, it was a notice on the website that says they're not going to take appointments until starting at 11. So I log on to the website. The first thing I get is a service error, an error on the website saying it was overloaded. So then I called the number, the automated number, and then it said press whatever the number is to make an appointment. Then it was dead silence, y'all, dead silence. So nobody ever came to the phone to answer anything. So I'm thinking, what if there's a senior that was calling? My dad's just fortunate that he has, 3 daughters to be able to make sure he's okay. But what about the seniors that don't have that liberty or don't have those people in their lives to make sure that they follow through, and they end up falling through the cracks? And that's when I talk about the left behind part. This is that left behind and forgotten. And so I went inside and I asked, well, what happened with the appointments? And he said, oh, this is a security guard. He was nice, he wasn't rude. He said, oh, at 11 o'clock, we opened it up. In about 16 minutes, all 2,000 something appointments were closed out. I said, what? I said, so what the seniors supposed to do? I said, that now they're in competition with the general public. It's not like they still had their own separate, or they let us do the first hour be dedicated to seniors for making appointments, and then let everybody else be the rest of the time. And so he was like, well, no, that's it. He said, we only take walk-ins, 10 walk-ins a day. I said, 10? I said, you know how many people live in Fulton County? I said, is this the only office? He said, yeah, this is the only office. So I left out. I didn't fuss or, act up. I behaved myself. So I went outside and I was just watching and observing. And then that's when I did my video, because I was very, very upset. And not so much as upset for my dad, but I was upset thinking about those seniors who don't have an advocate in their family or a friend that can advocate for them for services that they need. And this is just energy assistance. So you can just imagine if they need home repairs done, if they need transportation is always another issue. Healthcare is always on the list. As well as making sure they talking with their parents or their kinfolks, doctors. All of this thing was going on. I was like, how do we leave seniors behind like this? Especially with something that's needed. Many of our seniors may be having some kind of breathing machine that they're utilizing. And even if it's not all day, they might do it at nighttime. And they need electricity, or they need to be able to stay cool. But some of them like to stay warm. But either way, whatever the situation, they need their electricity. They need to be able to cook their food so they can take their medicine. So it's everything that goes with this as to why they need their energy assistance. They're on a fixed income, have their Social Security. And so for our county leaders, our state leaders, I'm putting everybody out there, city leaders, to not have thought this all the way through as far as what are the ramifications that can happen or the backlash if we don't take care of our seniors and set aside what needs to be done. And this just Fulton County. So after I did my post, I tagged a whole lot of people in it. And then I asked the question, how many other counties or who else is going through the same situation? And guess what? Fulton County was not isolated. There was Cobb, there was DeKalb, and then also with Clayton. And then my sister and I we looked up Bibb County, and they were out of appointments. So just about, I didn't check all the other, a total 18, but we just did that random, that they're out of appointments. So what about those seniors, let alone the seniors? What about those single parents or those that are disabled that need help? Now, one thing I will say is that if you got a crisis, as far as like your light is about to get cut off or it's already cut off, those are the ones that were taking the walk-ins, but they only were taking 10 a day. And so you had to be there early in the morning. So, you see a line that's forming, that started early in the morning to get the crisis help. So I said, you know what, my show is going to be on Monday, and I need to talk about this and bring awareness to those who might not even have a clue of what the seniors or the disabled having to go through, and compel them, the ones who are affected, and those who are family and friends, to say, reach out to your elected officials. You know, we talk about the power of voting. This is the reason why you vote people into office, for them to do something for you. That's right. Do something for you when at your time of need, when you need it, they're supposed to be available. And if they don't know the answer, they're supposed to go and find the answer out. If there's a problem, y'all, there's always a solution. It may take a little time, but don't be unresponsive because you don't have an answer. There's no excuse. You call the constituent back, and I'm gonna give some tips. I wasn't served for 8 years, and my constituents could never say that they could not contact me. I might not have had a whole answer, but I always told them, let me go find out. And I kept on working until we found a resolve for that, or try to mitigate what could be done for that situation. So that's why elected officials are important, because they hold the key to policies and procedures that might need to be changed, that sometimes at the moment it might not be an issue, but this is a big issue. And this is not just Fulton County, it's not just Cobb, it's not just the Cab, but seems like something going on in a lot of these major counties across the state of Georgia. Now, let me give you some more background information that you might not have known about LIHEAP. Okay, I told you it stands for Low Income Heating Energy Assistance Program. And according to the Georgia Department of Human Services Division of Family and Children Services, which we know as DFACS, they have a website. So for those of you who are listening, go to that website. All you got to do is Google LIHEAP Georgia. Excuse me. It is administered by the Community Action Authorities. I told you there were 18 in the state, divided by areas. Now, to me, I don't even think 18 is enough. The 18 areas is enough, and I don't even know if when was the last time the census was considered in their designation of 18 areas. We took the last census in 2020, and so I don't know how that has adjusted, and they might have, that's how maybe how they got to 18. But I just think even in Fulton alone, just having one agency is a disservice. Why aren't there two agencies and they can split it up and they can share the needs, and making sure that the people are given what they need. Now, the light heating program typically begins the first workday of December, first workday of December each year, for residents aged 65 and older or medically homebound. Also, all other residents may apply for assistance begin the first workday in January. So always 1 month is for seniors and disabled and the medically homebound. And then the next month is for everybody else. The LIHEAP cooling program typically begins the first workday of April. Y'all heard me talk about that first. And then everybody else is the first workday in May, which was May the 1st, which was Friday. So you heard about that whole thing that happened. It is federally funded program that helps low-income households. So this is based on your income. Not everybody can participate with their home energy bills. So they bring a copy of their energy bills. They have to bring the ID and some other personal identifiable information to their appointment. And it can reduce the health and safety problems such as illness, fire, or disconnection. So this helps all of that, prevent that. The Georgia LIHEAP program may be able to offer one or more of the following types of assistance. So energy bill payment assistance. So listen, y'all, for those who don't know, this money that's set aside is not mailed to that person, the recipient, for them to decide when they want to pay the bill. They go in, they have a contract with the energy companies like Georgia Power, Scanner, Shell, some of the others, Atlanta Gas Light and all, and some of the other Southern companies and other Greystone Power and all of that. And they actually pay the bill for the recipient, for the applicant. So they don't send you any money. They actually go and pay it on your behalf because you have to bring a copy of your bill. It's also used for energy crisis assistance. So if you getting ready, the light getting ready to get cut off, they also have money for that. And long-term, low-cost residential weatherization assistance, because some of these houses are very old, and if you don't have the right kind of windows, the ceiling, and all the other stuff, you can end up air can be leaving out or heat can be leaving out. So they have a weatherization program. All three of those are a part of the LIHEAP. The basic requirements: you got to be a U.S. citizen or legally admitted immigrant. The applicant's total gross annual household income needs to be at or below 60%. The applicant needs to have full responsibility for paying the cost of the energy bill. So look, you can't be your niece and your granddaughter and you're going to go there trying to get LIHEAP. No, it has to be in that person's name. They are served on a first come, first served basis by each agency for the counties that they serve. So we know that there's not an unlimited amount of funding, but we know that for it to be closed down within 15 or 16 minutes, I had never heard of that happening before. But I think because the change of the process is what caused that overload. Because remember now, if they closed it off in April, they didn't do anymore. This is like about the second week in April. Then all those seniors who were waiting in April now had to wait till May 1st. So they on the system calling in or going online. Then you have the general public, those other low income individuals that are now calling the phone and going online. So guess what? The overload happened. And now we're seeing the after effects of the overload. And so it said customers are encouraged to apply early before funding expires. Well, that's what they were trying to do. Heating allowance, and the amount that's set aside is from $400 to $810 for heating. Cooling is $400 to $500. This is not per month. This is one time, and it's applied to your bill. Now, say if you've been on time and you don't have a bill that's behind, and you just end up having a credit that rolls over. Okay, because it's federally funded, the states are required each year under the LIHEAP Program Act to report. So they have to do a report. The Office of Community Services publishes the LIHEAP report to Congress, providing information regarding the sources and use of LIHEAP funding, amount, cost, type of fuel used, number and income levels of households assisted with LIHEAP, household LIHEAP benefit levels, LIHEAP offset of average heating costs, number of LIHEAP assisted households that include vulnerable members, and LIHEAP recipiency targeting performance measures. So the Community Action Authority have to give a report to the state. Then the state of Georgia has to then give a report to the Community Office of Community Services that is required by federal law to give a report to Congress. So everybody's supposed to know what's going on. Looking on the state website, I found there was the grant application that was submitted to the federal government. So let me tell you guys something. Anytime you're dealing with the government, there's always paperwork, a trail of paperwork that you can follow. And so I just did a little investigation, and it didn't take long. I just started Googling and then started clicking. So this application is 47 pages long, and it's for the 2024-2025 cycle. And there's a few things that caught my eye. Okay, so it asked them in there how they're going to perform the program, how they're going to make it available to the citizens and all of that. So section 1.10 asks the question, do you have an online application process? Y'all, the answer was no. At this time, this is the answer they had in there. At this time, we don't have any components available online. So here's the thing. By not accepting these online applications, This is what helped contribute to the bottleneck. Now, you heard me earlier talk about the left behind with our seniors and with the digital divide. So there are some seniors that are very knowledgeable about being able to go online and do all that. Then there's some that are not. They have to have assistance. But if you had the option open, that would have helped with the bottleneck as well. And even if there was a new system that was put in place that now requires everything to be digitized, with scanned in and all of that, I don't see why you could not have staff at the senior center to be able to upload the information. They could have used a VPN, a dedicated internet line that would be secure with people's personal information. Had the staff there, the people give the information, they scan it, put it in the scanner, upload it, ask them the questions they need to ask, they answer it. They even got a little pen pad where you have to sign your name or put an initial on there. And that would have cut down even on the load that FACA had. And if FACA said, well, hey, we might not have had the staff, which that's understandable, then that's where the county and the city step in. Because guess what? These are people, a lot of them that live in the city of Atlanta, pay taxes in the city of Atlanta. They also happen to live in Fulton County. And then for those who are in the unincorporated parts of the other cities that make up Fulton County, like East Point, College Park, Hateville, portions of South in South Fulton, the city of South Fulton, all of those, Palmetto, all of those are Fairburn, Fulton County. And then you got the north of Johns, some other areas. But even with that, still having to serve, but only having one office, that's where that kind of bothers me, that you only have one office and everybody had to come to that one location. That's the part that I couldn't understand. So the requirement for in-person to sign the LIHEAP and provide documentation. Applicants must submit docs in person. This is what's on the application, y'all. When I say application, this is on the grant application. They said that they must do it in person, mail or email is them submitting documents. But they just said they don't have an online application process. Okay, and they said 65 and older will be served in within the first 30 days of each program. A lot of discretion, of course, is given to, this is not in the application, but I'm just telling you in general. A lot of discretion is given to each one of the CAAs, and those are the community action authorities, on how they collect the data. And we checked with someone, like I said, about some of them had windows had closed response for application. Now, an operational plan must be approved by the state office with LIHEAP policy manual. So my question is, on the state level, and this is where your state elected officials come in. So y'all heard me talk about the local, which is your county commissioners, reaching out even to your city officials, mayor, city council. And then on the state level, the state says, the state agency saying that there's supposed to be an operational plan. So my question is, what was included in the operational plan to be able that could have alleviated this bottleneck? Or was there something that changed all of a sudden and FACA and some of the other community action authorities say, okay, we got to react, but no proper plan that was put in place? There's also an audit that's done. Anytime you're dealing with any government agency or any nonprofit that receives government money, they have to have an audit that's done. The auditing is done every 3 years, y'all. Okay. And it's done by random selection of the Community Action Authority docs for review, internal program review, on-site evaluation, client files, tests, and more. And just so y'all know, the weatherization program is implemented through Georgia Environmental Finance Authority. And so that's a whole nother conversation over there. But and I only have 1 hour, and I think I have almost 20 or maybe 25 minutes that's left. And I got some other stuff I want to get through. But I want to take the time to go through this LIHEAP so many of you all who don't know, and those of you all who do know, that you know the backstory behind it. And so when we get to the call, what we call the call to action, and you say, okay, Valencia, Honorable, you giving us all this information. What can I do? I'm still didn't get an appointment. and I need my allotment to pay my utility bill. So what I need to do? Well, we're gonna get to that real soon. And so other issues that are being faced by the seniors, of course, are the sidewalks and all of that. But I wanted to kind of tell you all, like I said, about the light heat and take the time to kind of walk you all through that. And for those of you all who are out there that love doing research and finding out information on your own, like I said, if you Google light heat Georgia, then the website is going to come up from the state of Georgia Department of Human Services DFACS office, and you can click on that web link, and it'll give you all the information about LIHEAP. You click on that, it tells you you'll even be able to see the application. Excuse the application that was submitted on behalf of the state of Georgia, who receives the grant funding. So it comes from the federal government down to the state DFACS office. The state DFACS office is contracted with the community action authorities to distribute the money. I'm not sure how much the allocation was for each of the 18 community action authorities. To get that information, that wasn't readily available. So anytime you want information like that, you have to do what's called an open records request, or ORR. And by state law, within 3 business days of you doing an open records request, that agency is supposed to respond back with either the answer or how long it's going to take them to get you the answer. And sometimes the agencies comply, and sometimes they don't. Then you have to end up going a whole nother step. But this is things that you all supposed to know and should know as taxpayers, as voters. And that's why I cannot express enough. Your vote does matter. Your vote matters on the local level. As you can see, this issue right now started on the local, is a local level issue, even though it escalates up to the state and to the federal, because the federal, your congressperson that you elect and your 2 U.S. senators that you elected have say so over that budget for the money and how it comes down, and also what the policies would look like for the state of Georgia. Every state is not the same. And so usually every state does not have the same type of policy, just like every county is not the same. All 159 counties in Georgia do not operate the same way. So each one of them have different ways that they operate that are specific for that particular area. So you can't have a one size fits all for all 159 counties, because it would never work. And so that's the issue with LIHEAP with that. So you all, for those who have not received the LIHEAP and still waiting to receive it, contact your elected officials. I'm gonna go into some other issues that I see that the seniors are left behind. And before we close out, I'm going to give you the contact information on how you, as a voter, and even if you're not registered to vote, you can still call anyway, because you still pay your taxes, about how you can be able to work to come to a resolution about this issue. It's not going away, y'all. Even if none of the other people get their appointments, guess what? Somebody's light's gonna get cut off, somebody gas, but in this case, their electric bill. And then now they're gonna have to need some other stuff. So, you don't resolve one thing, it adds up and becomes another problem. And then that problem gets greater, then that problem gets greater, and then you're now doing a lot of reactionary things where you need to work on prevention. And I heard some people say, well, it's the new president that's in there that caused all that. No, then it caused all of it. Now, it might contribute to some, but it didn't cause all of it. This is policy. And if you knew in November, after the election, who was going to be the person that's in charge, that's when you start working. Let's look at our policies we have. What is the possibility that this can be affected? Okay, why can we counteract this? But everybody was stuck on, oh my goodness, the person I wanted didn't win. And everybody's soaking, and nobody planning. And this is a result of you not planning. And I'm talking to the leaders, because you were elected, the people trusting you to be their leaders, to lead them in time of need. Not just when everything is okay, everybody, yay. No, when the rubber meets the road, like right now, those people that I saw over there in that line, some handicapped, some with children, babies, small children with them, they need help now. And this is something that they depend on, they need it. And you have the solution. So provide the solution. Don't run away and don't return anybody call. I even had one of my dad's friends called me, and she said, I've been calling my elected officials, they didn't call me back. I said, but guess what? Come time, like this is an election year for Public Service Commission that regulates the rates for the utility companies, the Public Service Commission. There are 2 elections that are going to be happening in November. And in June, there is primary. So you're going to be making an election according to party. And then the main election is in November. But also in November, a lot of cities, their mayors and city council members are running for re-election, or some people are running for first-time election. You need to be asking this question like this. Okay, how you stand on Lahee? Okay, what you plan on doing? If you already in office, what you going to do right now? Because what they do right now is going to show you what they're going to do later on. So if they're not doing anything now, I can guarantee that they're not going to do anything later on, because you don't have no pressure on them. Y'all as voters have to apply, and taxpayers have to apply the pressure. It's the only thing that makes them react is applying the pressure, and don't let up. And so some other issues that seniors are facing, access to sidewalks. So a couple of years ago, when I was ran for a congressional seat, and even when I ran for U.S. Senate, we were going to visit the different senior high-rise or senior apartments and living. And one of the things they talked about, besides the food stamp, that they only get $20. That's a whole nother situation right there. I think they went up to $23. But they said that the ones that are in wheelchairs, electric wheelchairs, or even the ones that are pushed, and those are the walkers, it's difficult for them to get from where they're living to the sidewalk to even get, if they want to go up the street to the store or whatever they want to do. They were having difficulty because all the cracks in the sidewalk, and the sidewalks were not smooth like they should have been, and accessible for the disabled. So they told me, a couple of them told me some stories about one time the electric wheelchair flipped over, and they couldn't. And I said, well, what happened? They said, we called and nobody answered. And I said, and y'all still vote these people back in? That's what it's gonna come down to. If they don't answer, you all call, stop voting those people back in, because they're just telling y'all stuff that sounds good at the time for voting, and then after that they forget all about you. Now, the other thing with the sidewalks is the crosswalks. So all of us who can walk pretty well, we know you have 20 seconds to get from one side of the road to the other side. But what about the seniors and those that are handicapped and disabled? It takes them more time. So why not in those areas put extended amount of time to allow them to cross the main intersection so that they don't have to be dodging cars and scared to even go out and enjoy a nice day like this. So those are some other things. Being able to cross the street before the timer ends. The cracks in the sidewalk. These are some things that are easily fixable. They put into the SPLOST. You know that SPLOST money they ask y'all, that 1% every 4 years or 5 years. They say, hey, we need y'all to say yes to the SPLOST. Y'all need to be asking them questions, seniors and disabled and family members. What's in that SPLOST money for these sidewalks around the areas where you know there's a large number of seniors that live in that community? Transportation. Now, Fulton County has a program that pays for, I think, 10 free rides, free trips through Uber to wherever you need to go as a senior. So my dad was utilizing that to go up to the senior center. He goes up to the Helene Mills Senior Center off of Boulevard. I think that's John Wesley Dobbs Avenue, right there near the King Recreation Center. And so he would use that to go up there. So, but he's not a small man, and he don't walk as fast and swift as he used to do. So it take him a little time. He had a little walker. So he wanted to sit in the front seat. They told him, no, our policy don't allow you to sit in the front. You got to sit in the back. Now he about 350, about 6'1", squeezing in the back seat of, just think of like a little Honda, a Hyundai or something. They're not letting send the bigger cars to him. And so he was complaining, and so I called to the Fulton County and asked them, hey, what does the contract look like that you all are giving to the Uber and the other share ride companies? And I think they said they were looking into it or whatever. But the bottom line is that they didn't even think about that when you giving them that contract and you got seniors, they need to be able to ride in the front seat. So that should have been in the contract. See how simple that is, y'all? That's a policy. And if Uber said, well, we can't require our drivers to do that, guess what, Uber? You don't get, or any other share ride, you don't get that contract. You can provide needs in there for those services. So that's transportation. Then, of course, you got the Medicaid transfer that sometimes don't come on time. And as many know, when seniors, when they make the doctor's appointment, they have to make it. And if they miss it, they got to wait almost a whole month or so to get another appointment. And so modern mobility, my sister gave me a whole story about that process. You got to prove that you're really disabled. She said the doctor's note is not even enough. I don't know if they have changed this policy, but you have to go through a physical course to complete a physical course just to prove that you're handicapped and you need that modern mobility services. Now, let's not get on the housing situation with needing repairs or modifications, and even the high price of the property taxes. Now, Atlanta has a program that they put in place in certain areas in the city where it will cover your sales tax for a certain, but you can't have any liens or nothing else going on with your property. And it disqualifies even with housing repairs. And it don't matter whether the repair, whether the lien was your fault or you got in dispute or whatever. If it's on there and they pull that title and it's on there, you don't get it. So you're a senior sitting in the house, you know that it's money to help with repairs, but you can't even get your bathroom remodeled so they can be accessible for you, or whatever else that you might need in your house to make it comfortable for you. We got seniors that are living longer, y'all, and they don't want to go to a senior living facility. If they can stay in their homes, they want to stay in their homes as long as they can. So I'm going to getting ready for administration for seniors. Yeah, so there's a question in the chat for the name of the Office of Community Services. It's the federal office. The Office of Community Services is the one for, and then I said something about the administrative services as well early on. All right, so I'm winding down on my time. I know I've been talking about. I had a whole lot. I put my notes in together so I can make sure I touch on these things. And I want to give a special shout out to the Helene Mills Senior Center, like I told you, the one that's off Boulevard. My dad really enjoys going up there, and some of his other friends they enjoy. They get to play cards. They have a hot meal for breakfast and for lunch. When I say hot meal, it might not be hot. They might have like a salad or something, but a nutritious meal. I use that, and that's through, of course, federal funding money that came down for seniors to making sure that they're able to have a meal. Now they do have to pay, but it's not like when you go to a regular Piccadilly. So it's very, very discounted, the amount of money that they pay. And so and they have an exercise room, activity room, indoor swimming pool, and they also go on field trips. I also have to give a shout out to Clayton County Senior Services Department. And they have several of their centers that have the access to the swimming pool. They have the exercise room, activity rooms. They go on trips and all of that. And so not only because I know those two, so I'm sure there are others that are doing an outstanding job. I can't say because I don't have the information in front of me. But I just wanted to say that. And then we talk about the digital divide. A lot of seniors are not for me, you know how to get on Facebook. Now, some of them are. I've been seeing some of them. They be working at Facebook, but there are some that just don't, and it's okay. There, and so when we're looking at policies that we want to implement in and we want to go all digital, that's fine to a certain extent, but we can't forget. Remember, the title is How Our Seniors Are Forgotten and Left Behind. But we can't forget that there are individuals that just does not have access to those types of things to be able to do digital, and for whatever reason just don't want to do it. And so we have to always keep that into consideration whenever you're making policies and put them into place, to making sure they're working for all, especially if your service area is specific for seniors. That's what you have to make sure that you're looking at. Now, there is a component in with the Community Action Authority where they actually go to some of the homes where the seniors are homebound, and that's good as well. So I want to leave you with a few resources that are available for aging seniors, or they call it older Americans, seniors, adults, whatever the terminology that you feel comfortable with that you want to say. Just don't say old people. Okay. All right. So the City of Atlanta has a Commission on Aging, and they have individuals that actually are appointed to on that commission. So reach out to the City of Atlanta for anything dealing with aging. Those if you're a senior, we have the Georgia Division of Aging Services, aging.georgia.gov. GOV is the website. We have the Fulton County Senior Services. That's fultoncountyga.gov. DeKalb County Senior Services, DeKalbCountyGA.gov. If you stay outside of that area, if it's Cobb, you just Google Cobb Senior Services and you'll find the website. So contact your local area to make sure that you are finding out what services they have, and if there's any issue or situation that you have to tell them. Now, one thing about it, being an elected official, they don't know everything. And they don't know all the information or things that are going on. That's why you're important, because you're the mouthpiece. You're the one that's going to let them know this is what's working or this is what's working. There are some things that faculty is doing good, and we need to compliment them on it. But those things that they're not, that's what we call areas for need improvement. Or sometimes some things just need to be scrapped and done over. But some things that are okay but need improving, you have to tell them. So I don't know what kind of survey program that they have that they give out to the seniors at the time of getting the services. I know the times I've taken my dad or my sister have taken my dad, they never have asked a survey on the spot of how the services, are. Also, Empower Line. That is another resource. That phone number is 404-463-3333. That's 404-463-3333. And Powerline is a number you can call for any kind of services that you're looking for dealing with seniors, whether it's you having some problems, you need to talk to somebody in the legal area, or this whole issue with LIHEAP, or maybe your housing need fixing, or whatever it might be that you feel like you need some help or assistance with, you call in Powerline. And all of these are agencies that are funded through your taxpayer money. And then you have the Georgia Aging and Disability Resource Center. Georgia Aging and Disability Resource Center. That website is GeorgiaADRC.com. GeorgiaADRC.com. And now I know y'all heard me say about the website and all of that. For those who are listening and have access to be able to go and look these things up for a senior that you know, or somebody in your church, a lot of churches have many seniors that are in there. Get this information and give it to them, and then even asking how can we help make sure that you're getting the services that you need. Because a lot of times you don't know. So Georgia is spelled out. It's Georgia spelled out, A like apple, D like David, R like red, C like cat.com. And that's the Georgia Aging and Disability. So now what should you do? It's almost 5 and I have about 5 minutes left, y'all. I'm gonna run it down to you. First off, contact your elected officials, your county commissioners, city council, your state representative, your state senator, your federal U.S. representative, and your 2 U.S. senators. Y'all got a lot of homework to do. Now, you may say, how do I know who represent me? I don't have any idea. Well, there are 2 ways you can be able, 3 ways you can find out. One, if you're a registered voter, you can go to mvp.sos.ga.gov. That's my voter page. So if you can't remember all of that, just Google my voter page, Georgia, my voter page. But it's M like Mary, V like Victory, P like Paul, dot, S like Sam, O like Octopus, S like Sam, dot, G like Georgia, A like Apple, dot, G-O-V like Victory. And that's my voter page. When you go there, they're going to ask you for your first initial, your last name, and your date of birth. This is the database that pulls up you as a registered voter. And so once you put that in, and it's going to ask you the county in which you were registered to vote, you click on that. It's going to take you to a page. That page at the top is going to say, my elected officials. So you click on my elected official, and it's going to give you district numbers. You're not going to see anybody's name. You're going to see district numbers. You write down all those district numbers. You're going to see county commission. You write that number down. You're going to see, if you stay within the city and you all have mayors, have a mayor and city council, you're going to see the mayor, you're going to see the city council number, not the mayor, because the mayor will be for the whole entire city. And then you're also going to see your representative. And when your state representative, they're going to give you a number. That's their district number. State Senate going to see a district number. Your federal congressperson, which is up in Washington, D.C., they're going to give you a district number. You write those numbers down. And, of course, the 2 senators, they do have a number, but it's easy for you to find them. So now once you write the number down, you're going to, like if it's the county commission, you'll put in your county, like if it's Fulton, you put Fulton County District 2. And then it's going to pop up these people, this person's face and name, and then you contact them. Look at their contact information. Same thing for city, with the city council, your state rep, and all of that. Now, another way to find out is to pick up the phone and call. Call your county commissioner officer. I live at such an address. Who is my county commissioner? Go to call the city. I live at such address. Who is my city council person and my at-large person? Same. Now, for the state rep and senator, you can call down to the state capitol, or you can go to openstates.org. OPEN, like the word open, states, STATES.org. You go to that website, you're going to put in your address. It's going to pull up your state representative, your state senator. It's going to show you a picture so you know what they look like. It's going to have a link where you can find out their contact information. It's also going to tell you your federal U.S. legislator. So that's openstates.org. OPENSTATES.org. So like I said, you can call your county, your city, to find out. Also, and then also reach out to your local community action authority and ask what is the solution, what are they doing. If they say we don't know, you just have to keep checking back. That's the information you're gonna give to your elected official. They said keep checking back. So what are y'all gonna do? What's the solution? How are you working to help make sure that I am able to get my light heat that I need, or y'all change the way that you were doing it? There may be some extra funds in the county, in the city, discretionary funds that they can be able to help, can send to the Community Action Authority. And I'm pretty sure they already a line item in their budget to help with operational, but this may be something else they might need to add into, just for, even if it's just for cooling, until they can figure out something else they need to do. So there's always a solution, y'all. If it's a problem, there has to be a solution. Sometimes some solutions take a little bit longer, but there's always a solution. And you as a voter and taxpayer have to push for the solution. Now, for those who stay in Fulton County, the next commissioners meeting is on Wednesday, May the 7th and the 21st, and they meet at 10 a.m. at 141 Prior Street. And you can call the county office and get into other information and sign up to speak. Usually you have to get there early, before time to sign up to be able to speak and talk about your issue, talk about the situation that you face. And it's okay. Go to the city council meeting, talk about the issue that you face. Now, I know that with the county action authority, most of the times those individuals are appointed sometimes by the elected official, that county elected official. So find out who are the members of that board of your local community action authority and ask them. You just got to start asking some questions. The squeaky wheel gonna get that oil. If you're not squeaking and cocking and hawking, they're not gonna pay you any attention. So share your concerns, frustrations, and then also tell what did work, what you did like. All right, seniors, your voice do matter. And we're getting almost to the close of the show, but I have to do my say what. So say what is a segment that I do that make you say what to the what? I can't believe this is really happening. So according to Human Times, this is a publication, over 15,000 USDA employees, which averages about 15% of its workforce, have accepted the financial incentives from the current administration to either resign or as part of a broader push to reduce federal staff. These incentives offered with support from DOGE included months of pay and benefits. The departures span key agencies these are the agencies that are up on the USDA: Farm Service Agency, Natural Resources Conservation Service, Food Safety Inspection, Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service. So as we were talking about the LIHEAP, energy assistance, and all those, and we talked about the food stamps. You heard me talk about the food stamps and all that. All that's affected when you don't have the right amount of staff that's there. Now, did they need all 15,000? I don't know, because I don't have privilege to the information. But what I'm saying is these are things that are happening, and that's why I said it's important, very important for you to voice your concern to your elected officials and saying, hey, what are we supposed to do? What's the solution that you have? Now I'm going to run into my announcement and we're going to be out of here. Happy Teacher Appreciation Week. Yay! Hats off to all the wonderful educators, because y'all, it's not easy. I did do a little substitute teaching here and there, and I can't do it every day. I want to thank those educators. I just can't do it every day. Some of those children, they mouths, woo, they might have me in that orange suit. Even though I like orange, I don't like it like that I got to wear that jumpsuit. Not when I want to wear it, but because I'm locked up. So thank you for those teachers who sacrifice, get up every day to teach our children. Some of these children, but some of them, others are sweet as pie. And their parents, thank you parents for sending your children. Those parents who send their children to school to learn and be respectful, thank you. Those others who don't, there needs to be some policies put in place to make you be the parent you're supposed to be. Your children up there cutting up and tearing up the school. They had to teach how to use the first 15 or so minutes to get them in order. And other children end up not getting the quality of education they need. But anyway, and I think y'all that we're going to probably see some robots in those classrooms soon, because these teachers not going to keep putting up with that. They're going to end up going to the better quality school districts and teaching. And those are our areas of our schools that are lower income, where the income is not at a certain level. Those are the areas that are going to suffer, because they're not going to have the quality of teachers that are needed because of those behavior issues that are going on. So I want to give a shout out to that, to those educators. Thank you all so very much. And also the administrators as well, and those who work in the school system. They may not be a teacher, but might be a cafeteria worker. It may be somebody that drives the bus, somebody that helps fix the air conditioning and the heating. Make sure the grounds are nice. Anything that you do dealing with education, you are much appreciated. Even though it's Happy Teacher Appreciation Week, it's happy those in Education Week. So thank you so very much. Clayton Collaborative meeting is May the 21st at 1 p.m. Our topic is we're going to be talking about the gathering, which is our big event that we do as a culmination of the work that the champions does, which are actual people, individuals who are SNAP or food stamp recipients. We're looking at trying to find solutions or ways to be able to improve food access, nutrition, and increasing in physical activity. The Clayton Collaborative is a group that I facilitate, and we are the leaders from the Clayton County area, and we're working with the champions on finding solutions for those things that they see are a problem or an issue or a challenge. So the gathering is our big celebration of the things that the champions said they see, those as leaders, the things that we see, and we all come together and we're going to celebrate and give out. It's almost like a report day where we're talking about it, but we have other activities that are going on that day. A lot of great activities. We're working on the location. So y'all just stay in tune with my social media handles to know when the location is. Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all our mothers, whether you birthed a child or you help taking care of a child. It does not matter. Happy Mother's Day to you. It's going to be Sunday the 11th. And so I want to give a special shout out to my daughter, Christy, who's a new mother. Yay. So now she gets to see what all I had to go through raising her and her brother. Yay. Cinco de Mayo is today for those who celebrate in our Latino community. Public Service Commission elections, November the 4th. I talked about it earlier. May the 19th is the last day to register to vote for the June 17th primary. Y'all, there's a primary June the 17th that you're going to need to go vote. Early in-person voting will start at the end of this month, May the 27th. So I know you haven't seen the signs up and you haven't started getting no mailers yet, but you're going to soon start getting them. But it's the Public Service Commission election. That's the primary vote that's going on. And then, of course, in November, like I said, you have the mayor and the city council as well. According to Associated Press, Georgia voters will choose from 8 candidates as they fill 2 seats on the Georgia Public Service Commission, the body elected statewide that regulates how much Georgia Power and other power companies can charge customers for electricity. Voters statewide elect commission members, but they must live in one of the 5 districts. So if somebody's running for office, they have to live in one of the 5 districts. Up for election this year is District 2, which stretches from Atlanta's eastern suburbs through Athens, Augusta, and Savannah. That's District 2, y'all. District 3 includes Fulton, DeKalb, and Clayton. So those 2 are going to be having the ones that are going to be voting for Public Service Commission. All 5 commissioners are currently Republicans, and so you do have some that are Democrats that are running, and they'll be hitting the primary. So you have some Republicans running against the Republicans in the June 17 primary, and then you have Democrats running against Democrats in the June 17 primary. And then November, of course, y'all know how that works. The one Democrat against the one Republican, and they may have an independent who may be on the November ballot. Yay for the independents. Okay. And I just happen to know one of the persons that's running for commission is Keisha Sean Waits. We served together in the state General Assembly and been knowing her even before we served together. And she also was a former city council person. So I know that she's in that race. I mean, I know personally. And I told you, mayor, city council. So y'all, guess what? I'm looking at the time. All good things must come to an end. This is our season finale show. So you all, I won't be back next month. The month after that, I'll be back in September. But if something comes up that's real hot off the press, then I will come back to do a show, especially for specifically for that. So you all take care of yourself. Enjoy the rest of your May. Enjoy the rest of your summer. And we'll see you back in September. You have been listening to Issues and Answers on WCEG Talk Radio. Thank you all so much for your attention and your time. And remember, if you want to reach out, you can send me a message, send me an email, contact at Stovall, and we could have another conversation. All right, y'all have your challenge and your marching orders. Get ready, get started on it. Bye-bye.